Okay, we're going on early. We're on, girl. We're on.
Okay,
We're on
right.
early. We're on early.
Hey, well, there is nothing like, a
See,
learning curve.
Matt, you're early. We're early.
Yes. Well, it's almost 1:11 Eastern Standard Time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in. And, this is how the LinkedIn Live thing works. We're live. We didn't know it, but we're rolling with it. So, welcome to our inaugural The Awesome Journey LinkedIn Live. I am your host, Kelle Steinecke, along with my cohort in care, Christy Howard. And just to give you a little bit of a background on what the heck is the awesome journey? Well, the awesome journey is this little thing called life. We're all in it together. So why not make it awesome? And Christy, why don't you give a little bit about your background and why we're here?
Oh, I'm just a cluster of everything. A little bit of everything. I am Christy Howard, and I've been on LinkedIn since 2008. And as I put on my post today, Kelly reached out to me. We've known each other for 15 years, but we've only been around each other 5 times. And she had the awesome journey. She's been, holding on to this, and she said, let's do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm all about paying it forward and helping people out. I spent my life of not really having a lot of help. So I want to help other people out and get their voice out and we learn from other people's stories. See, we got some people here
Yes.
already. I am going to show up because I figured this out.
Love it.
My girl Brandy from Massachusetts is
Hey, Brandon.
here.
Awesome.
Matt from UK.
Hey, Matt.
We've got Paul.
Oh,
Hello, Paul. Thank you for your support.
yes.
Ron McDonald. Oh my goodness, somebody I went to high school with. Okay,
What?
and I graduated in 1980, so there you go.
Wow.
And we got Stephanie Jane, who was going to be one
Yes.
of our guests. I can just keep on going down, but hey, we've got some great people here. I got
Nice.
UK people here that should be, I don't know, asleep. It's like, oh no, it's only 6 o'clock at evening. So anyway, Kelly, you go for it. Let's go for it. Let's just jump off this cliff and fly.
Yes, let's jump off. So, just to kind of piggyback on what Christy was just saying, we met on LinkedIn 15 years ago, which seems crazy. And I have only met in person 5 times, but have always just had this great connection. In the sense, we're just two women that are no BS kind of girls, and I love it, and are just very authentic. I think that's the best way to probably state it. And when at the end of last year, I was thinking about the awesome journey and doing a podcast with it because I just loved the domain name and because it can mean so much to so many people. And I had been praying on it, like, what am I supposed to do with this? And Christy kept coming to mind. So I contacted her and I was like, girl, I have been praying on this and you keep coming to mind. No one else. Would you be interested in doing a podcast with me? And she, of course, was like, yes, like I love this idea and love the domain. And then at the beginning of the year, we both started doing LinkedIn Lives. And some of you I know that are here have seen us on the Hour of Empower with Don Cohen. And we both are regulars on that show as well. And once we got into it, we thought, why are we trying to wait to get this podcast thing going? It just seemed to be so many more things. Neither one of us are into technology. Like I know enough to be dangerous, but all the back end settings and stuff, we were like, girl, I don't know. So we thought, why don't we just go ahead and launch on a LinkedIn Live? Because our whole focus, one, was, hey, this is a way to see people, not just hear people doing a podcast. Granted, I know some of them are also filmed. However, we both had our lives definitely change over the past few years with COVID. Everybody has. 2020 changed us. I now consider myself an accidental consultant. I've been a marketing executive my entire career. But of course, 2020 came along and I was unfortunately laid off and could not find work to save my life, which was devastating to me. Because I'd never had to like beg for work, and which just felt so strange. And emotionally, it was very difficult being isolated, not able to find a job. And then I got some contract work, and that just sort of why I call myself an accidental consultant. because then someone else needed some help with their marketing and business strategy. And I was like, of course, I'd be happy to help you with that. So that's kind of grown for me. And Christy, the same thing. And I'll let her tell a little bit about her story. But the more that we talked, the more we were like, you know what, we're not the only people that are struggling with being laid off, having difficult time getting a job. The job market has changed dramatically. What can we do not only to help job seekers, but also, give some recruiters to give some advice on what they're looking for or jobs they're searching for. But really ultimately what we wanted to have a part of this as well is just some awesome people talking about their own awesome journey. This thing called life that we live. And Christy and I both have stories, and I've had many of people say to me, "I can't imagine going through what you've gone through." And I said, and then say like, "I would never be able to do that." And I'm like, "Well, you never had to do it because you haven't been put in a position to do it."
Right.
When we're put in a position, you don't realize how strong you are until you're forced to show how strong you are. But good, bad, and indifferent, and the downright crappy, like we say, it's all part of this awesome journey. And I wouldn't change anything because this thing called life has brought me to right here, right now, not just with all of you, but certainly with Christy and our, friendship that I do like to say is it's like no other in that sense of meeting online through a business platform that certainly was not social 15 years ago. Um,
No.
and here we are doing a show together, but because we align so similarly in how we want to help people and pay it forward. And this platform just seemed to be the way to help magnify what we're trying to do and reach so many more people at one time. Um, so Chrissy, what are some of your thoughts and maybe talking about going forward, what we're going to be looking at doing with guests, et cetera?
Well, from somebody who's um, looked for jobs many times, it'd be times where I'd be like, I want to move to New York. 2 weeks later, I'm in New York with no job and I had to figure that out. And living all over the country, I have worked in numerous industries and just had to figure out the job, the resume. Being on LinkedIn for so long, I've always been a networker because when you move into a new city and don't know anyone, you've got to figure out how to do it. But I was in corporate and I left a job because I was, like Kelly said, she kept on, praying on this and it kept on coming to me. I'm supposed to be helping other people out. I'm not supposed to be making that money. And it's not about the money. It's about me paying it forward and helping other people out, understanding the job search and understanding from a job seeker's side. However, somebody who has worked worked with HR, has worked in recruiting, onboarding and stuff, but knowing the mental health issues that you have and going into that rabbit hole of not knowing what to do. And it's changed even in the 2 years. I was laid off during COVID, and I was fortunate enough that I did get a job with a great company that I decided to leave from. But they allowed me to really dive into the LinkedIn's and resumes when they had to offboard people. And so helping people understand the interviewing. So with our guests, we're reaching out to small business owners. I mean, even global, because everything it's not old school anymore on that. You can do business with people in different countries. We're reaching out to recruiters because there are a lot of recruiters out there that I've been following for years that really put out some great content, but a lot of people don't know about them. And I want to hear their voice. I want them to be known. I want them to be able to share who they are and what they do, because other recruiters, they sometimes have a specialty. And so then people are going to reach out to them and go, well, I need this. And it's like, well, I don't really do this. And then the job seekers. I mean, my main thing is let's get you out there. You've got your resume, you've got your LinkedIn, but you don't have your voice. And that's your selling point, is your voice. And that's where you sell yourself in an interview, but there's times that you can't even get that interview. So when somebody sees you, and a recruiter might be like, yeah, something, their resume says it, but I really like their energy and I want to get to know them a little bit better. And that can maybe open up doors. We're here to open up doors. And then we've got some special guests, some amazing, amazing people that have some life stories. Kelly and I are huge on our veterans, our first responders, our undercover guys. And some of these guys have some amazing stories, but sadly, they went through hell and they've turned around, and what they do and how they pay it forward and to show the brightness of being a phoenix is just, I've learned so much from these people. And so we're all about just, let's bring anybody and everybody in, because we all have an awesome journey to share, and we all are able to share our own journey to be able to help others know that they're not alone. What do you think, Kel?
I mean, so true. The part of the speakers, I cannot even begin to express you guys how excited I am about some of the people we're going to have on. And I don't want to name drop yet because we don't have the calendar completely set. But we will be having speakers starting next week. Maybe on occasion it'll be just Christy and I, but our goal really is to highlight job seekers, recruiters, and people in their journeys in this wonderful place that we all are. And so, again, just focusing on our goal of paying it forward and helping as many as we can. Why don't we take a look at some of the comments we got coming in, Christy?
We've got some great comments. Hold on, I want to showcase the one that got us here, Don.
Yes.
And hold on, here he is. So if it wasn't for Donald, we wouldn't be here.
That's so true.
We give him so much kudos. We love being on his show. He makes us think. And I like that. I like how to think. So there you go, Matt Allen. He does a LinkedIn Live called Kudos. And again, kudos. We live for kudos.
Yes.
So let's see. There's so many great. Bear with me. So here's a good one. John McDonald, as he says, the journey is often longer than the road, and our story is more than the words told. Helping each other and paying it forward is about empowering each other to be overcomers. And this is so true.
Yes.
You can't, I'm big on dancing with my skeletons. My stories, and both Kelly and I have some dark stories, which I'll share one. I mean, I was raped when I was 40. And I can literally sit back now and say, it's terrible to say, but it completely changed my life into a positive. It made me see my own life, and it made me see that I had the power and that I have a purpose of what I needed to go, where I needed to go, and what I wanted to be. And I mean, at 61, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to be. But I just opened my eyes at that moment, as terrible as it was. So when we go through terrible times, it's not because we're a bad person. It's because things happen, but it's also how we get through it, not over it, but you get through it, and you get through that darkness, and then dark always brings light.
That's right.
The moon, the sun. So, this is just a very passionate thing for me. I've always been about paying it forward. And right now it's like, I see so many open to works, so many people that are having a hard time. And I just want to say, I'm here to help you. How can I help you?
Yeah. And just to go on that, first of all, God bless you, my sister. I mean, for you for sharing so many things in so many ways, which is, I know, one of the reasons that Christy and I connected. She's just an open book, and there's no shame in any of our stories, and there's just something that's so powerful about hearing that in someone else. Owning it. You're not defined by one event in your life. And going through it, one of the things that I say a lot is, if growth were easy, we'd all be doing it, because it's not. It's rough, but you need people around you to support you. And one of the things that I can definitely say from Dawn's Hour of Empower and doing that that's been so wonderful for me is just reinforcing, I think what we all believed, but 2020 kind of robbed us of some of these things, was the basic human need of community.
Mhm.
Because in community, we feel supported, we feel safe. And when we feel safe, we feel courageous to try things maybe we haven't done, whether or not it's in the workplace, like, hey, I'm going to try something new because I'm feeling supported by my manager or by my team, whatever it is. Or just in life, when I'm going through something that's not so great, but I've got my community of people around me supporting me, giving me love, and it makes me feel, whether it's embraced, to be able to get through that pain and knowing I can get to the other side because I'm supported. And, all of those things. So community has been such a big thing for me starting this year. Um, because even just going LinkedIn Live, I mean, I was praying also for, God, I know I have bigger purpose in this world, and please guide me to it. And then I was on a phone call with Don the next day, and I was on his LinkedIn Live 2 days later. And writing that wave and continuing to write it, because I absolutely love it and I'm so proud of it, it's been the basics of, we all need the same things. I don't care where we are in this world. What resonates with every human is human connection and love. And that's really what we're trying to do here, is how can we give back and pay it forward, from not just our life experience, but from bringing others here to share their experiences, and helping others obviously find jobs on this platform, because we thought there's got to be another way that we can help, just beyond having speakers sharing stories and supporting one another. Let's really do it and get recruiters and job seekers and see what we can do to help one another, because we just thought, what cooler way to get on a LinkedIn Live and do a little live resume pitch, if you
Yep.
will. Because reading people on paper, it's all great, but I'm going to be honest. Like, granted, I do like my LinkedIn profile because Christy's done it for me. Um, but when you read somebody's information, granted, it sounds great, but what are they like in person? There's always something so different. And anyone who says they don't hire based on a person's attitude, that's not true.
Right.
Because they want someone who's got a positive energy attitude, who's going to be, part of their culture. Um, and they can teach tasks, but they can't teach people how to be. So to be able to get part of your personality shared, I mean, what a great way to do it, and a unique way. And I do think this platform has not been leveraged in that way, with as many job seekers as they are. Like, let's get creative and try something. So please, 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 if you're a job seeker, know someone who's looking for a job, recruiter, please DM us, and let us know if you would be interested in coming on and highlighting, because we're happy to give a few minutes. And I don't know, we may pick, a day out of the month and do like an all recruitment or all seekers day or something. Because we're still sort of, and I don't want to say making this up as we go, but
Oh, actually,
we're fluid into it, in the sense of, we're not stuck on any one outline of what we see. We just know that the bottom line goal is, we want to pay it forward. We want to give back. We're here to help. And we're here to, because we're all on this journey together. Why not make it awesome?
absolutely,
What do you
absolutely. So as Kendra says, getting the interview is the hardest part today, and we have ageism. I know so many
Mhm.
people that the most they've been working for a company for 30 years and they were laid off. So now what do they do?
Yeah.
And they were given a year's severance because they gave a company for 30 years, which it is what it is. But going back to, who do you want to work for you? Do you want somebody who's going to really work and be passionate about it because they want to work, or somebody who just wants to just have that those freebies or whatever? I don't know, because I'm old school. But anyway, so I'm going to share some of the great comments. But everybody who knows me is, I'm about the job seeker. I
Mhm.
am your champion. And I talked to numerous people about it. But you also need to have your confidence. You have to believe in yourself. And COVID took a lot out of us. it completely, the mental health was very hard, and now people are just trying to get out of that, and then all of a sudden they get laid off, and now that mental health is going down, spiraling down, and just the struggling. So anybody, who needs somebody to talk to, we're here for empathy. And we're connected to so many people that you never know who we know that might need to know you. So as Kendra has mentioned, getting the interview is the hardest part today. And it is, because you have to get through to the people, and they're just looking for the words. They're not looking for really the soul of the person that's doing it. We've got Omar here.
Oh yeah.
He's a Donald veteran, and he is from Arizona.
Yes, my neighbor.
This is one of my guys. He's a job seeker. He's out of New York. Sells, and it's tough. I mean, we understand that certain states are very tough. So he will probably be one of our showcase people if he wants to. So let's see. Paul. And Paul, if you're looking for financial help, this is somebody you need to have a conversation with.
Yes.
He doesn't sell you. He's very good. So as he says, I just spent an hour learning from a legend this quote. It's not how long you live, it's how you choose to live your life. Janet Newman. And this is true. We have our choice. We have our purpose. We have our power. Those are my hashtags. Ed Hunt. Ed is a recruiter that I would love to be able to bring on. He posts wonderful comments or commentaries on his page, and he's very good at understanding the recruitment, and he doesn't hold back.
Love it.
And that's the type of recruitment. I don't want people coming in and saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do this. I want to have the empathy and saying, this is how it is.
Yes.
But there's no rules. Nobody has any rules. Everybody changes it differently. As I said, I help people with their job search. I help them rewrite their resume, or I write it for them. I help them with their LinkedIn because that's their brand. I work with branding. My first business was the authentic image, about being your image. However, there are a lot of resume writers out there. There's a lot of career coaches. I'm not a career coach. Kelly's not a career coach. She's a business coach. There's a different thing. I can't tell you how to do your career. I can't even be a life coach because I can't tell you how to run your life. But we can help you with your business, and we can help you with your confidence. But we're not here to be, to tell people that they can't do what they're doing because they don't have the experience. Nobody knows what your experience is unless you have a conversation. And unfortunately, LinkedIn right now has become a little toxic because the emotions are so high. People are having so much struggles. So people are, competing with each other. I don't look at anybody as a competitor. I learn from everybody. I learn from the resume writers. I learn from the recruiters. I learn from other coaches because I don't know it all. Right. If I even know anything, I think I do, but I don't know it all. I helped people.
Right.
And then here's somebody I'm definitely going to be wanting to showcase. Dom I worked with. He was a graphic artist at the company we worked together. And then he's a UX UI designer. He is a steal for any company. I mean, not only his smile, but his desire just to learn and grind and everything. But so this one is definitely on my list. I adore this young man. But those are the people we get to know them, and that we get to know their story, and we want to share them with everyone. Yes. Because you don't know who you know that they need to know, or vice versa. I mean, that's right. All about what LinkedIn is about networking. It's a social media business platform. And so, yeah, I mean,
and I think, so much has changed since, when you say 2008, and that just seems like eons ago. But back then, LinkedIn was really just kind of your electronic business card, if you will, right? People, I honestly used to have it set to where they had news articles. You used to be able to filter by topic, and you could get, so in the morning, that was like my starting of the day. So I would go to LinkedIn and I would see what was going on in the financial world and real estate, and read the top stories. They don't do that anymore. And I don't know when they stopped, but it's been years ago. And I loved that feature. But in any event, now it's a place where there's so many people coming back or coming for the first time because of all the layoffs and because the job market has changed so much, and trying to figure out, how do I leverage this? How do I use this? And I think one of the one of the things that you were saying, Christy, and I just want to exemplify, is we're not here trying to tell anyone they're doing their job wrong, or that, you know, our way is right compared to anyone else. We want to hear what everyone has to say, because recruiters, for one, you know, I definitely have had positive and negative experiences with both. That doesn't mean that they're all negative. Um, but I think there's a different way to job search now, also in the sense of, you know, you've got ATS, and, you know, that means you got to rewrite your resume in a completely different manner. If you're somebody that hasn't been in the job market for a decade or even 5 years, for goodness sakes, it
Yeah.
has changed. And it's intimidating when someone goes to a job that's been posted on LinkedIn, as an example, and you see that there's 1,258 applicants already. And you kind of go, well, what's the point? Because I'm not going to get anywhere. And, you know, there just feels like so many roadblocks. And, you know, like Kendra said about just getting an interview. Because now this is something I always said, I was like, get me in front of someone and I'll get the job.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people feel that way, because it's like, I know I've got the skills for this position and I know I can do it. I'd be great at it. I love their company values, their mission, you know, whatever it is. I know if I could just get there, I could get this job. But it is, how do I get there to get in front of it? Because there are so many places that you apply for now. And I had this personally. So I also know getting even into the system and being like, getting through the first round of interviews and being like, you're still in the process. But then all of a sudden you get nothing. And it's like, what happened? And of course, I am bold enough to reach out and be like, you know, hey, what's happening? And finding out, oh, the position now has been permanently put on hold. We're not going to be filling this position until maybe potentially next year, or whatever the situation. But a lot of people, and I did find this for myself too, because never being in that position of feeling, you know, it messes with your ego,
Yep.
because it was like, what do you mean I can't get a job? Like, this feels terrible. And I couldn't even get like middle management jobs, because I was getting the whole feedback of, well, you're overqualified. And it's like, well, but I'm not overqualified to get a paycheck. Like, when did that become part of the equation? And, you know, and I think all of these things can independently be topics that we talk about, because even when you're talking about ageism, Christy, I actually did have someone, a resume writer, several years ago, because I said, you know, when you list out my jobs, you know, you'll be able to figure out approximately
Yeah.
how old I am. And I don't want that to be figured into the equation. And so they gave me a couple of tricks on how to adjust my resume. But it was just the fact that that was even a thing. And several people did tell me, yes, you will be completely bypassed. And I've worked with enough HR managers who, and when I say this, I'm saying it's people that I have known who weren't qualified to be vetting who got to the desk of the person that would be doing the interviewing.
Yep.
And so that there's all these different layers of things that happen, but for the end user, all of us, it can be emotionally distressing. And I do think just knowing sometimes, like, oh my God, thank God I'm not the only one that I'm not getting a reply from, or that I'm not the only one that feel like my resume is going down the black hole of unknownness. So
Well,
anyways,
that's the reason why we want to bring in recruiters, so they can understand, they can share when you see the applicants on the Easy Apply, what exactly should you still apply? I hear that you should. I hear that that's only the clicks. You know, and understanding the back end of what, you know, your LinkedIn profile works. So I want to do a few of the messages or the comments. So Scott, Scott is a job seeker as well. As he said, LinkedIn networking has worked phenomenally for so many of my professional community. It hasn't seemed to work all that well for me, but it is amazing that I'm able to leverage my community to help others. Well, hopefully we can help you, Scott. You and I have
yeah.
spoken, and we'll get on a call because it is about connecting with people. And I keep on saying, you never know who somebody knows.
Right.
John is somebody that I just connected with, and he does works with disabled, and that's again here you're dealing with. You know, everybody has a story. But as John says, his tagline is turning disabled into enabled, which I love. And often disabled is mistaken for an able. With support, we can all overcome life's obstacles. My father, when he was, I'd say in his 50s, I believe, he worked for DuPont for 36 years, and he played handball, skied, and played golf. He lost his leg, didn't play handball anymore, but he turned around and learned how to play golf and ski again, snow ski. So they retired over in Colorado. He started a nonprofit called Telluride Adaptive Sports Program. I used to go skiing. I don't really like skiing because you go up and down and it's cold. I live in Florida. He'd go on black diamonds, and he would go down and he'd look, he'd be like, come on, I'm going down. I have one leg. You can go down. I'd be like, okay. So I would go down, and he'd look at me. He goes, when are you going to learn? I live here. I ski this every day, but you did it. And that's all about being able to just say, I can do this. And I'm not going to let the fear of anything hold us back. And right now, people are in the fear of, I'm not going to throw my resume in because I'm not qualified, or I'm going to get passed over because of my age, or there's so many people have clicked onto this, so I'm going to be lost. Just jump, just do it. But don't pray and spray. Have a strategic thought process of how you're doing your job seeking. Reach out to recruiters, follow, people that talk about, small business, and even having small businesses. When you have small businesses, you need a market. How do I market? How do I get to a bigger picture?
Yeah.
You follow, you connect, you have conversations. That's the wonderful thing that I will say that COVID did bring. We have video conversations now.
Yeah.
I don't talk on the phone. Either I text or I'm on video with you.
Yeah.
I will, if I've got to do on the phone, I got to put my earpods on, and I just don't like that. So that's, it's all about getting out of the fear. And as Lillian says, it's once they see how many applicants are applying, they won't apply. We need to get a recruiter on to really understand that whole thought process.
Yeah.
Brandy, who also is a job seeker, it can be intimidating and can cause you to shut down. We all have our mission, vision, and confidence aligned, but you get tired.
Yeah.
Looking for a job is a full-time job.
Yep.
And, you get to the point like there's fake jobs out there. There's jobs repeating itself. There's jobs that the job description isn't even good grammar. So you don't know, should I do this?
Or you conversely think, wow, they really need me.
But how do I get a hold of them? So that's, when you know what you need to show other people what you know to be able to help them. So I think, we were hoping to be only a half an hour, but as usual, we go over a little bit longer. Each time is going to be different.
About a minute left. Yeah. We started.
But I want to go back to why we started. Well, we didn't exactly start at 111 because I started sooner. Right. But Kelly, explain why the 111. I mean, everybody wanted to know, and we said you had to come back to find out that why we start at 111.
That's right. Well, 111, because if you're like me, your meetings tend to be at the top of the hour. And I'm like, I need some time to get some coffee, tea, or pee. I mean, we just need the time. So we were like 111, give people time after the top of the hour. They finished before the top of the hour, so they got time before their next meeting. But then the other part of it is 111 also represents new beginnings. And what else does it also represent, Christy?
It's faith. One of my favorite scriptures is Hebrews 1:11. But then if you also know 11:11, those are the angels. So any kind of 111s, and that's all about new beginnings, believing in yourself, believing in the universe, believing in whoever you believe in, and knowing, you've got angels. I did a post the other day about our heavenly angels and our earth angels. We're all earth angels out here for somebody else. You might not even realize it. You just might not even realize you just saying hi to somebody could change their day.
Yeah.
Just
amen to that.
Just reaching out and saying, hey, you look nice today.
Yes.
That person might need to hear that. So it's about going out waking up every day because we woke up.
Yes.
This awesome journey. Knowing that we have the ability, even if we're going through a hard time, and trust me, we all have the stress in our life, um, to make it the best that we can with the tools that we have and maybe learn from other people. And that's the whole thing. We want to share our stories. We want to share other people's stories. We want to pay it forward and help other people. So we're here to help. Again, DM us and we'll get on a conversation with you, get to know you, and throw you out here just like us.
Yes.
It's all
Yes.
yourself.
And then please be sure, for anyone who is in the chat, please connect with these people. I believe that anyone here, you're all here for the same reason or have something in common. Connect with one another, reach out to one another. I do feel there's something special about LinkedIn Live connections because somehow people are pre-vetted and you kind of bypass all of those, 18 canned messages that you get in your inbox. I just feel like it makes such a difference. And to wrap up, I just want to go back to say we will be here every Tuesday starting at 1:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be having guests and we will be focusing on job seekers, recruiters, and just awesome people who are living this awesome journey and sharing their stories with all of us to help inspire, encourage, and grow us. And I mean, there's nothing better, I think, right now than to give back into the world than some love and encouragement. I think we all could use a little bit more of that. So
Absolutely.
as I wrap up, thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm Kelle Steinecke, and this is my co-host in care, Christy Howard, and we're all on this journey together. Why not make it awesome? Have a great
Absolutely.
day.
Have a wonderful day.
See you
Bye.
next Tuesday.